ahead and start with Z-Man Ultra.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'll be playing Izzeay, the human monk of the Old Light.
Izzeay.
Howdy, I am Izzeay. I'll be playing Martha Blackbrick, your clericy dwarf.
Jace.
Hello, I'm Jace, and I will be playing Soot, the human fighter.
Dust.
Hello, I am Dust, and I will be playing Finn, the human bard who just doesn't seem want to die.
Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I will be playing Callisto, the Tiefling Druid.
And last but not least, Rodeo.
Hi, I'm Maxwell Rodeo, and I will be playing Castor, the Grave Cleric Azamar.
And you guys know me. I'm Corey. I'm the Diggity Dungeon Disaster DJ. So with that lovely recap, I'm just going to let you guys take it from here. It is snowing hard outside. Accumulation of probably about 1.5 inches already.
Oh, yikes, it's a lot.
Hey,
More than Castor would have ever seen in Tansom or not?
It outside of winter. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
most.
So, what's our plan now?
I think, fortunately, it's time we find Martha and tell her of our plan and what we're going to do.
If I recall correctly, you wanted to read over the blueprints and make a copy of them.
But that's something we can. There's going to probably be some words said, so maybe multitasking. I don't know.
Yes,
we
I'm sure.
we should possibly. We've delayed enough. We should let Martha know. I'm going to head back.
I have a spell
go
for
ahead.
this situation if we need it.
Hopefully it won't come to that. But I'm going to go to the cart and go ahead and get started on this. If you want to find Martha, I'll see if she's at the cart or guild hall. You may want to check some bakeries or perhaps somewhere in town. I'm not really sure where she gets off to.
I would first off, I would like to see if I could borrow a little gold. All my gold was stolen from me because I need a new lyre and maybe some change of clothes.
I'm pretty short on gold, but if you need some of mine, I can lend you some.
I can give you things to trade, but I don't have much gold. I actually I spent the last of it doing something for you before we left Fort Tosum.
Let me get a perception check, please.
Um,
Anybody. Everyone.
Okay.
Whole 7 for me.
Oh, it's an 8.
All right, so we'll go down the line here. We get a perception of 13 for Zereth. We have a perception of 7 for Soot, perception of 20 for Castor, and 8 for Finn. Martha, did you want to get in on these?
Sure. Perception, right? Alrighty.
Yes, please. 16.
Whoa!
Crap.
Oof.
Okay.
Callisto sees all.
Callisto sees all with a natural 20, total of 23 altogether. So anybody above 15 is going to see this. Now, Tansom is a few miles off from Dragon's Rest. But there is a very noticeable snow landslide that is going to occur on the front face of this gigantic mountain. And a lot of the times it only accumulates at the top. But something has jarred the mountain so much that you see, I'd probably say, about 3 to 4 square miles of just snow drifting from the top down the mountain, crashing below.
How far away is this?
Oh, miles.
Okay. Cool.
But it's kind of as if like water is rolling over the top of this mountain.
Can I do a check to see if I remember what's up in that area since I grew up here?
Sure.
What would that be? History?
Yeah.
Could Martha make that check too to see if it might have accidentally fallen somewhere it shouldn't have?
Sure.
All right. History check. Nope.
All right.
That's an 8.
We got a
Corey.
14 for Castor and an 8 for Izzeay. Let me do these rolls real quick. With a history of 14, there is Dragon's Rest, which at this point has mostly become a memorial. There are a couple of small towns up there, one of which was mostly known for the honey that it produces. It looks like it could have rolled through that area, but there's no particular chance of knowing unless you were to, visit and check and see yourself. With a history of 8, it very well could have hit anything up there. That was quite a large landslide.
That's certainly not
Corey.
good.
With my nat 20 perception, would I be able to see what made the landslide?
Unfortunately, not from that distance.
Okay, cool.
It definitely wasn't anything large enough that you would see it from the. So you could rule out large things like dragons or basilisks or weird stuff like that.
That's other weird stuff.
Just other weird stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got, I don't know how much gold things are, Finn, but I can give you 2 or 3 gold if you need it.
Well, to be fair, I don't really need it for a new lyre for right now, but I would like to. You know what? I can wait on my stuff. We got more important things to do. So
I can give you a mace and some gold to trade in.
it's fine. We'll worry about it later. Let's go find Martha and plan go from there. I think it'd be better.
I'll just cast a quick spell to help us find Martha. I'm gonna cast Locate Object on Martha's apron, whenever she wears every day.
Martha, where would that spell take them to?
She is currently quite frantically trying to dust the snow off of Mordebjorn's shrine. It's not working, but God, she's trying. And seems very, what's the word for it? Concerned about that avalanche. She is just constantly like triple taking in that direction. Like, oh dear, oh dear. Today cannot get any worse.
On the way, Zer's gonna turn to Soot. Soot, my friend, I think my eyes might be a little bit more use while we travel. I can see more clearly in the light now, especially with the glare of the snow. Maybe I can attempt to make a copy of the map while we find Martha.
Sure. I just figured it might be better to do it on a stable surface, a table or an easel of some sort. But if you want to try that now, sure. And I'll kind of like unroll the map and I'll hold it so that Zare can look at it and copy it.
Zera's gonna politely decline Soot's advice, and it's going to become apparent why, because he's going to be taking the map and he's going to be kind of like bending it and folding it into the light so he can see the line. Then he'll lay the paper over it and draw over it with colored chalk. So he doesn't really need a flat surface for this.
Also, incredibly steady hand. Was never one for the writing or drawing. That was never quite my thing, despite my father's insistence that I learn the arts and become a well-rounded man. So that's
That's okay. I gathered that from your signature on the guild charter, and I'll give him a wink.
exactly. It's serviceable for legal documents. But let's see if we can hear any panicking or smell any fresh baked goods. But it will
It's a good sign.
surely be where
Where
Martha is. We're just kind of meandering around because I honestly don't know if any of us know A, that Martha goes to the Shrine of Mord or God, them, and B, knows where that is.
Castor's
Oh.
cast a spell to find it. He's been
Yeah.
walking
Oh,
that
okay,
way.
okay.
So
But
walking
we're
on our way.
leaving the doorsteps of the cathedral.
Aaron Sorkin walk and talk.
So Finn, I gotta ask. You've been without a leer for how long exactly?
Well, to me, a day. But it's been about weeks in actual time, so.
Let me see something. Can I get you to roll me a Constitution roll? Or no, a Wisdom roll, please.
Oh, what? Are you sure you don't want it to be a Constitution?
Yeah.
Just a straight up wisdom?
Yes, please.
Okay. 12.
12? It's not bad. Alright, give me 1 second. Because I have to do this in a very particular way, because it doesn't like it if I do it any other way. I apologize.
No, it'll be for the comedy.
Might not be.
I know.
Here it is. This is the best photo I can get of it. Here we go. So, you're going to feel this weightlessness,
Mhm.
kind of like a stress release. And for a moment, there will be a memory of kind of the void. And, you know, that, like you said, most of it when you were alone was terrifying.
Yeah.
When you were with a certain other being, it was bearable. In that time that you spent with her, there was a bit of a jovial connection, you guys laughing, and maybe a memory from sitting around that table, and jokes that you shared kind of ping up in your head for a little bit and give you this chuckle. And when you do, in your hand is going to appear this from your ring. This very elegant leer, which kind of comes up through and into a U shape with this golden kind of augmentation to the head of it, the long neck, and the small symbol of a crescent moon in the dead center of the Chris, what would you call the opening? A resonating chamber?
The opening,
Yeah.
the blank space.
Yeah.
Uh,
Where the sound would come out.
The
from
guitar
opening
hole.
of the body.
oh, there would be probably like a sounding board, which would be the base construction of the U.
When you look in the black hole, there's a golden crescent moon in the very back.
According to, it's called a sound hole. According to Google, I thought there would be a fancy name.
Lyres don't normally have sound holes. That is almost
Okay,
like a. I don't know what that is. It's like a mandolin lyre. It's pretty.
As much as I'd like it, I don't have a ring. I was never given my ring.
Were you? Are you sure about
No,
that?
I'm sure.
Are you sure
Well,
about that?
check
He's
your
saying,
finger.
yeah, check your finger. He's saying, like, look at your.
Oh, well, would I see I'd never noticed this ring before, so is there a ring on my finger now?
Between the last time you have checked and now, at some point, a ring has found its way onto your finger.
Ah,
A dark cedar wood kind of sits through the bottom of it with a smoky mountaintop through the crystal like clear balsa wood above it. Kind of similar to the others. But it's a little dulled as this shining lyre is held in your hand.
I guess I wouldn't know that, like, because I don't think the other individual ever told me the rings were connected to her. So I wouldn't
Didn't go
know.
into detail.
No.
She did explain that they were a gift.
Well, if I knew that, I'd at least, I wouldn't say it out loud, but I'd at least thank you, Arwen. And as he'd walk, you'd see a much more like peaceful smile on him as he just starts like strumming the sound, the lyre, trying to, I'd almost say tune it, but just enjoy playing it again.
Okay.
So we have to notice a lyre materializing into Finn's hands and he plays it like that.
See, there's the weird part. Like, you don't actually like witness it happening. There's this like weird kind of phenomenon that I wouldn't say it stops the senses from picking up on it. Kind of like the mist from Percy Jackson. It just kind of materializes. You kind of feel as if it's not been there always, but you didn't see anything silly happen. You know, you didn't pull it just randomly out his butt or something.
Well, I did create a blanket out of thin air because of my subclass, so they notice I can create things.
That is true.
So it probably wouldn't be all that strange.
I guess that's true. Fair enough. Oh, Finn and his materializing objects out of thin air.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, oh man, it's been so long since we've heard Finn playing or singing. Oh, so it's missed that.
It'd be a very like happy, like just calm music, just like a good walking song.
And we're following Castor, who has got a bead on Martha.
Yeah, I'd say he'd have arrived by this point. Most definitely.
Castor will see Martha cleaning the shrine and doing her best, but not making the biggest impact. And he'll go up and start to help as well.
Good night, dear. Don't sneak up on me like that. I get enough of that from my husband back home.
I didn't know I was. I'm not the sneakiest fellow.
That was quite the avalanche and quite the snow in the middle of the warm times.
In all my 14 years here, I'd never seen it snow like this during this time.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't clean this correctly. Maybe. No, not my fault. But that avalanche is concerning.
I have a feeling it's something to do with us, Martha, as a group.
We do seem to get into a lot of trouble.
I think with all the... Castor will look around, making sure there's not too many people within earshot, and then he'll be like, all the things that have happened to us since Fortosum, I think we've thrown something off.
How do you throw something off when something happens to you?
What I did wasn't something happening to me. It was something that I did.
Just smiles.
Castor tries his best to return that smile.
So you guys have been working on this map for a little while walking, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zoe's been using different colors. If Soot wants to help at the same time, he'll offer a few colors to sort of like organize the layer, like kind of like a rainbow. Like red is the deepest level and purple is the highest level,
Okay.
according to what we can figure out from the map. I don't know if the map gives us that. The blueprint gives us that level of information, but.
Go ahead and give me an Arcana roll with assistance. Whoever you wish to make the roll is up to you. One of the two of you, but you would gain advantage.
Can I touch him on the shoulder and grant him guidance?
I'll let.
Also,
Sorry, sorry. I completely interrupted, but I was like thinking. Just sorry. Soot, you should make the roll.
yes, I.
Also, can we say because I'm playing, I give them bardic inspiration for this roll?
So here's what I'll allow: either guidance or bardic inspiration. I'll
Take
let
the
you guys
bardic.
choose.
All right,
Okay.
you have, and since it's an ability check, you'll get this.
Okay, what is the dice measurement?
D8.
Okay.
Out of game
Okay,
for it,
so 8.
it's really cool that you're having it be a thunder snowstorm right now because that literally happened to me last night.
So
We had lightning and snow.
25
Yeah.
total on the Arcana check.
Okay. So as you guys are walking, the snow's kind of blowing. There's going to be this moment where this glass or some some sort of arrowhead shard will come from Zereth's shirt, just kind of blowing a little freely. As it waves by this page, each and every one of the passageways that are unseeable will light up in a red tone, kind of harmonizing with the arrowhead. The arrowhead itself will also start to brighten a bit. And you'll learn that you can actually use that arrowhead as kind of a UV light.
So this may require another check. Does that and maybe I'm quiet part out loud, does that mean that Zer, at least like the glass that Zer makes, like from his hands, is like crystal powered? Like Kodia crystal powered?
That would be for a him thing to know.
Okay.
I, I, if that's something that Soot wants to ask,
I was about to actually turn and ask that because seeing that and having noted earlier when Zaire used, I believe, part of the Kodia crystal to see if he could like bring forth the patterns and seeing that reaction, and then seeing this glass shard reacting, Soot will turn to look at Zaire. Have you had any exposure to Kodia's crystal or any of its influence over in Sunshade?
it's hard to say. Almost everybody in the desert's been exposed to what we call desert glass. It's a kind of crystalline structure like Codia's crystal that falls regularly out in the desert. Apart from the sands, though, we had never been aware of anything other than Codia's crystal falling. I'm saying that this new crystal up in Grangle Jungle is completely new. So I'm not sure the exact connection between the glass that connects me to Codia's crystal. I'm not sure the exact relationship.
That's fascinating. If we ever get free time, I'll look into that. That's something I didn't know of you or your people. Um, but for now, it's a pretty handy tool. Uh, so let's use that and hopefully make short work of this.
Yeah, so Zereth will continue to use the arrowhead as the black light that you described, which is really, really cool to kind of like highlight different parts of the map as we go across it like a printer.
Also, with the thunder rolling in here, is the storm like picking up? Like, is it beginning to snow harder, or get like heavier winds, or starting to like rain or sleet or anything like that, or is it just thundering?
See, it's just snow and thunder. It is slowed down on the snow end. It is not stopped by any means, but you're seeing less of an accumulation. In total, you're probably about an inch and 3/4 of an inch of snow currently. Um, and if it continues, you might see another inch in about 2 hours, 3 hours.
I have a question for my own personal picture of this situation. Is Zereth wearing a shirt, or is he out there shirtless in the snow?
He's got kind of a shawl kind of thing with sleeves.
Okay, so not too cold, but not too warm.
No, nothing's pointing out.
Got it.
Well,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm glad you all came here to check on me. Thank you very much. It's certainly snowing. It's certainly snowing. DM, I have a question.
Sure.
Where near Dragon's Rest is Mortibjorn, or rather, where in this mountain pass? Just so I can get a vague idea.
I'd say roughly, probably about, and I'll ping it.
Because it's
here.
in a valley.
Yeah.
Shit.
A couple miles due east or west of Dragon's Rest. And it covered the whole false back. So it rushed over Dragon's Rest. I guess in total, the snowfall started here and went downwards all the way to the base.
I want to see Martha do that thing where she bites her tongue and sort of fidgets like she obviously wants to say something, but she's not going to.
You know, it's not good to keep things in, Martha. If there's something you gotta say, we're here to listen.
It's nothing we can do anything about, dear.
That can pretty much describe our entire adventure.
Fair enough. I think that Avalanche might have, went over my old village. That's very concerning.
Have they ever experienced avalanches before?
Well, DM, I mean, it is sort of a quote-unquote
They
holy
have?
place, but is it, like, protected, or...?
There is a little protection. As of recently, though, you know that your deity's power has not been too forthcoming. There was also news earlier of potential heresy amongst the people. So even protection from the deity might not be a thing currently. But they do have some, I would say, precautions in order. So, like, they would go into the buildings, they would wait for the snow to stop, and they would wait for everything to settle before they would attempt to come into their homes, if they could. There would probably be some survivors, but something like that, there would definitely be casualties.
They've certainly had avalanches before, but nothing quite like that.
Well, I'm sure if they have other skilled clerics like yourself, they'll be just fine.
I certainly hope so.
Uh,
Anyways, I think for tonight I'm going to buy 3 chickens and we're going to have a lovely feast. Callisto, would you like something like, what's something fancy that vegetarians eat? Pineapple? That fancy spiky fruit? You like pineapple?
I do like pineapple quite a bit, yes.
Okay, I'll make you some pineapple.
I learned the other day that pineapple used to be so expensive in the Middle Ages and stuff that people would just rent it for their parties.
Callisto, are you vegetarian?
Yes. I
Have you?
have never had meat in my life.
You've been vegetarian this whole time?
Yep.
Huh. Well,
It's okay. I keep it low key. I don't like to enforce my beliefs.
No,
on other
no, I
people.
was just
No,
worrying
that's-
about some of the soups I fed you.
no, I'm just confused as to how a relatively hunting, well, I guess gathering based community survives without. Where do you get your protein? How do you get your full nutritional balance? Are you mostly bean based?
Soot, have you
The-
never had the berries she makes?
That's fair. I suppose that'll get around a lot of things.
It does. There are also different funguses that have a lot of protein in them. There's a specific type of mold that has a lot of protein in it, and we add that to soups and stuff. It's hard to find outside of the jungle, though. But yeah, it just makes life easier because you don't want to kill a member of your own family by accident, you know?
Do you
That makes
do you
sense.
count fish as meat?
That's kind of where it gets complicated, but I've never had a fish.
Okay.
So I guess.
When we go to my home, you may want to avoid every single bit of food that's there, because every single thing in Lower Brim is fish-based, or I guess eel-based if you want to be really specific. So hopefully everyone here is a big fan of eel pie.
I
Eel's
mean,
delicious. I'm just going to say that out loud as a regular person. Eel's great.
It's slimy for me.
to be
As-
fair.
As
Sorry,
the word
go ahead.
slimy comes through, so you're going to feel this kind of wetness that starts at your hip, and it's going to kind of continue upward from your hip onto your back, and it's almost adhesive, kind of like those sticky things that you got from Walmart, from the little coin vendor that would you like throw them on the wall and they'd slowly like
You're talking about
slide
this?
down the
Oh,
wall.
those things. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about sticky hands.
Until eventually this thing is going to reach your shoulder, and it's just going to kind of like throw up its two little like ooze-like arms and.
Hello. How's the cold treating you there? If you need to, you can hop back down on the back and keep yourself
Seems
warm.
unaffected.
All right, that's good to know.
Just
Not a cold-blooded thing there. Do you even have blood? Anyway,
What
Martha.
the hell is that?
Oh, I won it in a bet.
That's
Te-
our new
well, I-
mascot.
I technically won an egg in a bet, and that came out of the egg. But we've really been dilly-dallying a little bit too much. Martha,
As Soot continues talking, it starts motioning as if he's motioning, and it starts like cooing and babbling, and it continues for like a solid minute after you.
Martha is absolutely entranced. She's like, amazing, darling.
we're going to have to double up on you. We have more bad news, but we figured that could possibly be done in the warmth of the guild hall.
It's news. Is it Matthew bad? Is it Jason bad? Is it...
It is Jason bad.
Oh, dear. Oh, he's
Uh,
still missing. Did you find him? Oh, was he in trouble?
Not technically, and yes.
Oh, God. Okay. Time to stress bake.
Exactly. And perhaps we can just skip the chicken and just go inside and we can have a lovely vegetable broth soup to warm up and get the chill out our bones.
Okay.
More
okay.
babble and arm waving.
Do we?
Not all.
I mean, do we want to just, unless we have anything else here, do we just want to go?
Let
Well,
us give this news, and then perhaps we rest, and then we take off tomorrow morning, or
take off.
take off. Yes. Well,
Yes, we
as I-
we need to leave.
There's a lot has happened. Let us explain in the guild hall where we can speak of confidential things loudly.
You'll notice that Castor looks a little disheartened because he didn't want to leave yet.
Well, on
I'm
the front of the map, because I know you guys are probably still working on that slowly, and you had a huge roll earlier, there are hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of passageways littered throughout this entire castle. Most of them kind of ant-hilling. It starts
Right.
at the top at one entrance, spires out to several rooms, into one small central room with one exit which leads out into the lake.
To clarify, DM, do you mean like hundreds of passages out of this cathedral? Like, I thought you said before it was confined to a singular building, or are
Yeah,
we
just
talking
this
about a group
large.
of buildings now?
No, so this large cathedral, this large
Okay.
tower that is the Codia's kind of like tower, base of operations, castle-ish kind of thing.
Okay,
Because
gotcha.
I'd say it's about as tall as probably a decent wizard's tower. So there's hundreds of floors, and then of course when you layer in what they've got below the foundation as well. Yeah.
On the way back, Castor will look to Martha and say, is the cooking something that's going to help you, or would you like me to take care of the meal?
cooking soothes me, dear. Speaking
Okay.
of which, I hate to ask, do you have the energy to maybe try and send Matthew that message again?
I can give it a try.
Thank you, dear.
I
But
don't
for
know
now,
if
let's get out of this cold.
I don't know if you wrote down the message or not, because I didn't.
I did.
Okay.
Would you like me to repeat it and he can just do it now? In the cold?
We can wait till we get back inside.
Yeah. Okay. She sort of gathers everyone up, or herds them together. Okay, into somewhere with a kitchen and warmth and a fire. You see her slip one gold piece onto the shrine as she leaves.
I'll leave a gold piece myself.
You know, I've always wondered what the gods do with all that gold. I guess it's
In-
supposed to mean more of a symbolic thing.
From what I can tell around here, it's mostly new money.
She
With a bit of disgust.
she's a bear goddess, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave some dried meat from my rations pack.
Oh, that's wonderful. She does like eating a lot during winter. Although it's not winter, although it certainly seems it. Did the calendar get all in a funk?
You know,
Something
I
like
read
that.
once that the gods use the gold to build thrones.
That would take a lot of gold.
I am going to say it's going to be strange having snow on my birthday. I never experienced that before.
Oh, I'll have to make you a cake.
I'll actually second that there. Castor, that would be odd. Norbrim summers are a little bit balmy. But yes, let's hurry back and get this bad news over with so we can hopefully make preparations of some sort.
As we're walking, Finn will try to like get close to Callisto to just like he's going to ask her a question, but I think she's just going to move away from me.
Yeah, Callisto, as he gets close, she just subtly edges away and goes and stands next to Castor. And then if he moves towards Castor, she goes and stands next to Martha. And just passes to each member of the party individually, trying to keep away from him.
Yeah, after the second time, he just stops and puts his head down, but keeps playing.
There, after thinking for a little bit, would like to actually get out his vial of pigment that he bought earlier, his vibrant blue pigment, and just with a thumb, kind of like Rafiki in The Lion King, he's going to write in Celestial, "Good Mother," on the statue.
Did you just graffiti the statue?
I'm not sure.
I didn't
It's-
think you had it in you.
It's nice things that he wrote.
And it's good as in like holy mother. Like good, not like proper, or it's like a very celestial, holy kind of.
Well, she is the All Mother. I'm pretty sure she's used to children writing on her walls.
And I guess I'm still a bit of a child in some ways.
Oh, I used to carve little figurines and little doodles into the side of the house because it was made of mud and sticks, so all you really need was a sharp stick. Of course, ruined the integrity of the house, but they sure did look pretty.
As you do that, by the way, the stone pillar that's basically made up this entire kind of totem, the bit at the base is going to crack,
Ooh.
kind of fall to the side a bit.
Castor's going to grab the base and push it back and then cast Mending on it. He's going to try.
You'll notice that a small cavity inside has a very similar ring to the one several of your party members own.
Castor will pick it up and look at it and hand it to Zereth.
It's the ring like all the other ones, with the glassy and the landscape in the little snow dome kind of thing. Okay.
However, this one doesn't feel... Sorry, give me... This one doesn't feel as though it belongs to you.
Under his breath. No, it wouldn't. Martha, did you want to try it on?
Thing that just fell out of the statue.
I mean to say.
Well, I suppose. I used to be considered for a high priestess role, actually. She'll slide the ring on.
It'll fit probably about as comfortable as your wedding ring.
She'll examine it a bit. Does it have any specific, like,
There's
appearance?
a misty mountaintop kind of feel to it. If you peer a little bit at it, some of the swirls of the mist in there kind of look like your favorite dishes.
Ooh. She'll smooch the ring. Mwah. All right.
Castor will continue mending the statue.
It'll go back. It'll be just fine.
Well,
Let's get out of this cold. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, having her like examine her ring, Finn will look at his because he never did.
It's kind of not shining while the lyre is out, but you will see kind of faint musical notes in the smoke.
Okay. A random thing. He's gonna hold the ring out, and then say fire. Just I don't know. Nothing happens.
Nope.
You know, I read a book once about these like kids who had found these rings and they could call the elements from them. I thought, maybe it might be like that. They also could summon somebody when all the rings combined, but
Silly.
yeah.
Ye old Captain Planet.
All right, let's get back to the thing, the place.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this bad news, I say, lyingly.
You guys would make it to the cart in time.
Okay, everybody in. I did clean up everything.
This probably would be better done. Less cramped space if we could take this to the guild hall, unless that's what you meant.
Yes, guild hall, of course.
Zereth's gonna take a dwarf-sized stool, something probably where Martha can still chop and cook, like in the kitchen, and he's gonna set a stool beside her so he can sit and like rub her shoulder as she works. Very angstly. Probably, I'm assuming.
Seems surprisingly at peace while she's cooking. She's just humming a tune, although there's definitely a sense of foreboding concern on her face.
Castor will look to Finn, and he'll like, you'll see him thinking for a second, and then he'll say, "Finn, do you think you could, sing me one of your songs? I've been trying to do something for Martha, and I just can't get it right."
Yeah. I'll start playing and like a few notes, and as he plays, the notes themselves will start to like form from the lyre and float around you, and he'll give you a bardic inspiration.
I'm gonna try that sending spell, Corey.
Okay,
All
and
right.
here is the message. If you'll even need it.
I remember Corey made me roll for it last time, so
Yeah, it's either ability check or saving throw, so I'm gonna put them both in the chat.
Corey, anything?
So it's going to be strange. You're going to send this ping out. And normally you'll just feel the message leave you, right? This feels like an open line now. You hear bing.
This was to Matthew, by the way, not to.
Yes, I know.
Okay. I was just making sure, because I didn't want to be
So
open to what's his name.
You'll hear a ping. Hi, thank you for calling the Lotus Blossom. My name is Silva. How may I help you today?
Anybody who's watching sees Castor just like jaw agape, just dropped. Like if it could hit the floor, it would be on the floor like a cartoon. And he's sitting there.
Say,
This is all in his head, right? Nobody else can hear it.
Yeah.
And in his head, he'll think back. I'm calling, or I'm trying to reach my friend Matthew.
Matthew, sweetie, what's his last name?
Blackbrick.
Blackbrick. We got a Blackbrick here. You go check, Monica. Go check in the goddamn back. Just a moment, sir.
Again, just.
You'll hear hold music.
What?
Just like a little lyre, just kind of lightly playing. Eventually, it'll come back, and he goes, "Yeah, so he's here."
May I speak with him?
Oh hell no, honey, no.
Why not?
You see, he's in the land of the Lotus Eaters, so he is ours. He ate a lotus, so he stays here.
What can I do to make it so he doesn't stay there?
Well, it used to be nothing. But these days and times, money is such a thing. We usually take a ransom about 120 gold.
That's fair enough. Out of character, I was thinking about threatening them, but 120 gold ain't that much. It should be fair. I should be able to gather those funds. Where can I find you?
Well, you see, we're very deep in the Grangle jungle.
Just so happens we're heading there anyway.
Oh, wonderful. Well, if you don't die, if you make it deep enough, you'll find us.
What should I look for?
We'll find you, sweetie.
Fair enough. The name's Castor.
Very well. I'll write that down in our system. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
No. Have a good day, and
Oh,
thank
well,
you for
just before we log off, let me go ahead and give you a quick case number.
I thought they were going to ask me to take a survey.
Are you ready for your numbers there?
Actually, give me a second. I'm going to get my character sheet editor open.
Now, if you could tell corporate how well we did, the number is.
Where do I put this? I'll put this right in here. Nope, not that. How do I add?
Come on, sweetie, I ain't got all day. You ready yet?
Ready.
Your number is 73. Thank you for calling.
All right, got it. It's in my character sheet. Case number, racial ability, 73. Castor he looks shook. None of you heard that. All you hear is him sitting there with his mouth, or all you see is him sitting there with his mouth open, like kind of cocking his head every now and then, like a dog who heard something funny.
Finn would probably like if you keep your mouth open, he'll close it. Like you don't catch flies like that.
So in the middle of that, he would probably be focusing intently, so it would just close. He wouldn't hear you, and then you'd let go, and after a minute, it would open again when the lady said something ridiculous back at him.
So he just keep doing it.
Man, you'll see him like snap back to it. Why does my mouth feel funny?
Jeez.
Well,
Martha, I don't know what just happened. You know how well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but when you use the spell, it's supposed to go directly to the person that you're thinking of, and they know that it's you, and they can send you something back, and it's usually just a one and done thing. You send them one thing, they send you one thing, and that's it.
yes.
I didn't reach Matthew. I reached some woman about the Lotus Eaters. And she told me that they have Matthew, and that he's theirs now. And I asked if we could have him back, and they told me, hell no, and that he's theirs now. And then I said, what can I do to get him back? And they said, now they'll accept gold. So we need to come up with 120 gold, and he's deep within the Grangle jungle.
Fucking hell, they found him?
Apparently he ate a lotus.
Of course he did.
Is anybody disturbed or slightly fascinated by the fact that we've had 2 interceptions now?
Yeah, these spells are not they're not that good.
To be fair, it's only been a 50% rate with me. It's been one time it's been intercepted, and the other time it was between Finn and I. So I don't know. I know how it's supposed to work. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
No, you're doing the same way I'm doing it, and I got
maybe you're doing it wrong. Maybe we're both doing it wrong. We don't know what we're doing. This is new for us.
We could try again, right? One of you other ones can try again. Yes. Maybe it's just Castor.
I am unfortunately out of that ability to use it.
Can I do a religion check, Corey, to see what I know about the Lotus Eaters?
Sure.
If I
I'm going to add a D8.
If I may say, as well, 120 gold. I mean, I suppose that's a lot for right now, but I may know of where to find some gold.
That's a 13 for my roll.
I have 29 gold and 5 copper. So
Well, the
I'm willing.
problem is, Martha, it's too dangerous for us to go in there right now. We'll die.
So
Did you at least ask if he's okay?
They said he's fine. Said he's in the back and he's theirs now.
That's not a good thing, honey.
Well, he's alive.
Oh dear.
So one thing you would know from history is that the Lotus Caesars would normally trap people and have them live out their lives there. From pretty much the moment you walk in to the day you die is their goal.
Is it a good life?
It's
from what I know from history?
complacent. Think about being stoned 24/7 and playing your favorite video game.
So Matthew would love that.
It wastes you away. You forget about everyone outside of it. You forget about who you were. Eventually, you just become a husk.
Any stories of people who have been in and got out?
Yes, a few. One of the most popular is a story from one of the most legendary guild members. There is probably more about him in some writing, but
Were they
you
the
wouldn't
same
know it off the top of
afterwards?
your head.
Do I know that?
You would need to do more research on that. 13 wouldn't do it.
Okay, well, I'll relay that information. I know is the person's name, right?
Darvin, but
Okay.
you don't know a last name.
Some legendary guild member named Darvin went there and made it out. There's probably something more written, but other than that, I couldn't tell you. Apparently, it's a complacent existence, from what I remember.
He's probably in hog heaven. Okay. Well, that's comforting at least.
According to what I think, it's like being on the best pipe weed and reading your favorite book for all of eternity.
He's certainly going to be all right. Oh, was that the bad news?
No.
No, that's
No.
just the tip of the spear, Martha.
I feel like it's just better to rip the Band-Aid off now. And
I think
Corey.
Callisto wants to say something about that.
Oh.
I actually had a question for Corey specifically. We've established in the past that Callisto and or her family have met the Lotus Eaters. Would I by chance know where they are in the forest?
They move.
Okay.
They migrate.
Cool.
That's why they'll always say, "We'll find you."
That's why. Okay. Cool.
Martha, we tried to contact Jason. I sent a message to him to see where he was, and it was also intercepted.
Sorry. A bit more information for Callisto, because she would know this. They have already previously intercepted mental transmissions from other people from your tribes. It is just something that they do within their territory.
Copy.
They have that ability. Kind of like it's a pocket dimension of their own creation.
Actually, I'm sorry to continue the interruption, but would I know of anybody from my clan who has been in there and escaped? Or anybody who's been in at all?
You would know of 4 people in which they've claimed.
Okay. Anybody important to me, related to me, in any form?
Yeah, not close family.
All
The
right,
tribesmen. I mean, they're home. So I mean, a little something.
And the message was intercepted by somebody who had Jason and told us to leave within 48 hours or he would start sending Jason back in pieces.
A finger at a time, I believe, is what he said.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then I suppose we leave tomorrow then. Is there any way we can contact him? Can I hear him? Is there...
Once we
No.
leave, we can contact him, I believe, was the rule. But he will be released a day after we leave, and will be left
Yes.
alone after that.
I'll have to make him a care package for when we leave.
Martha, the good news is that it seems to be mostly an empty threat to get us to leave the city. The other good news is that, well, we've already discussed this. Tansem does seem to be the best place for Jason at the moment, considering his condition. The bad news is that we don't know this being's plans for after we leave, or why he wants us to leave.
It-
But from these three things, it seems to indicate that Jason will be safe if we just follow the directions.
It seems we were meddling at too much, and it seemed like we were getting close to something that he didn't want us to.
This is not her best soup as she sets it down. It's basically hot onion water. It's tasty onion water.
Finn would eat it with a big smile and tell you it was the most delicious thing he ever had, and he would probably be lying.
Oh, definitely. I mean, don't diss hot onion water. It's pretty good.
It's puggers.
There'll be
Wait,
a knock at the door.
Castor will get it. He's already up.
It's just a delivery letter.
Okay. Castor will take the letter. Is it sealed?
Yeah, it's sealed and addressed to. Let me see here real quick to make sure I'm saying the right name. Zereth.
Oh, thank you. I take the letter as I've been kind of signaled, and
The
I
gentleman who gave it to you is in kind of this full black and kind of silvery full plate with a long sword on his back. He'll have black hair kind of pulled up into a ponytail with white tips. He'll just kind of give you a nod. A nice kind of large scar crossing from one side of his face to the other. Before
anything
he walks off into the
emblematic,
snow.
anything emblematic or recognizable about his full plate, like engravings, motifs.
Religious
Motifs wise, thorned roses about his armor.
Is there a religious meaning behind that?
Not from what it seems. I mean, if you look deep enough, probably. But
I was going to
I
say,
can
is
put
it's not like
something there
this? It's not the symbol of a god, is it?
No.
you said it was what kind of armor?
It's full plate.
Full plate. Is it safe to assume that this guy is nobility of some sort?
Not if he was just delivering a message.
I just figured because he's
That's
in
common.
full plate. That was
It
like a.
could be a
don't know.
guild that was consigned to deliver this message for somebody else. I should. And I just
Castor,
proceed to open it.
Castor will lean down in front of Zereth because he realizes he can't whisper to him,
Mhm.
and he'll mouth to him, "I think you're supposed to tip him."
He's already walking off.
Oh, that's just you always tip the mail carrier.
Pleasure of the job, and that you do.
The
What
letter
is it?
is from your partner
Oh.
back home.
I kind of turn away from Castor, so Castor, and I just kind of give him a curt nod and a sincere smile as I read it, secretly. And now, Zereth's not the best reader, so he's actually mouthing the words, as he tries to make. Also, I believe canonically, his partner's handwriting is rather horrific. So
Oh, it is.
he's
yeah.
trying extra
There's
hard.
a little bit of strawberry jam up in the corner that's probably aged not so great. There's a little bit of probably like grease on the other side too, from like machinery or kind of some kind of like I wouldn't say machinery, more like building supplies, I should say.
Mhm.
And it gives you a rundown of what's been going on back in the desert. It explains that they've had rain for probably about a week. It's nice when it kind of finally clears up because then they have these really nice colder days, which then the rain turns to hail, and then it goes back to rain again.
Okay.
And the shrine back home seems to be doing weird things. Someone said something about levitating the stones in the area for a few seconds.
I'll say it right out loud. That is very disconcerting.
And
What's
then a
going on,
comment
sir?
about going swimming once you come home.
What's disconcerting, sir?
I'll answer Callisto's question first, and then I'd like to make an insight on the letter, if that makes sense, if I can.
Does anyone else hear
so-
wolves?
I might have brushed my armlet when I was reading the letter, but I did. I'm sorry, Callisto. There is a shrine in my hometown. It's much like the temple to the Old Light here in Tansum, and much different at the same time. It's actually been upkept from ancient times, and is an esteemed place of luxury. Very celebratory, very happy place, but odd things are happening around it. According to this letter, stones around its doorstep seem to be levitating.
That is odd. Who's the
Ye-
letter from?
It's from my partner.
You
He
have a
mu-
partner?
He must have made a dock recently.
I don't think you've mentioned this in the entire time that we have all known each other. You're dating someone married? What's the situation? I want this tea. Hello.
We've been together since we were kids, 16. My father welcomed him into our home, and it's just been steady and good, apart from the fact that we both split and went our separate ways, not romantically, but occupationally. When I went to adventure, he set sea, and he now ferries people from Sandshade to Aharaza. He sends me stories occasionally of the people he meets. But this is very concerning. The shrine, while it does have magical components, such as the desert glass that I mentioned to Soot earlier, it's never been known to do anything actually magical. It's very religious, but it's very ordinary. I've mentioned my religion sparingly several times, but we don't pray to a god. We don't expect favors to be done for us simply because we ask. We pray to angels, and he gives an unintentional side glance to Castor. The angels deliver our prayers for us, and it's just assumed that everything works out right. The temple isn't supposed to do anything.
That is concerning, yeah.
I only mention it this way and with this urgency because of what happened with the temple or the shrine of Mortarbjorn, and what's happening with all the temples here in Tansum.
And with the weather and the avalanches, and there's a lot of things that are not good happening.
Although, if the shrine is composed partly out of desert glass, it may be interacting with the fallen crystal in some capacity.
But why now when it's fallen like weeks ago?
I'll look at the letter and maybe see if there's a postmark on it to see how long the letter's taken to get here. Oh, you're muted, Corey.
I'd say probably at least 2 weeks.
Letter's postmarked 2 weeks. It's possible if it's started up, then maybe a week to notice. I don't know. It's very close. Like, I get what you're saying, Finn, but there is a possibility that it could have started when the crystal fell.
no one noticed till a week later.
Yeah, if you give it a few days either way, it's hard to say. Maybe when we're done up north, other signs might lead us back south. But for now, I don't think with the distance between us we can do much use.
You know,
You'll see Castor looks very apprehensive when you say going back down south.
The insight check on the letter. The going swimming could be something very hopeful. It's also something very weird because it's not something Zereth has done since his accident. So I'm gonna make an insight check on the letter to see if anything weird has influenced the writing or the words.
Okay.
That's an insight of 9.
9. Well, with an insight of that, I'd say maybe they just want to do a fun activity with you.
Okay, I'll take that. Not even with a grain of salt. Very happy to hear. Sorry to take up your time. I know there's nothing we can do about it, but
Honey,
it's
there's a
something
lot of
that-
things we can't do about anything.
I was about to say that could be the title of our autobiography. Is we can't do that.
We certainly can't go back to Mortibjorn. We can't save Matthew. We can't find your partner. It seems
Well,
we're a group of incapables.
I
That's
wouldn't say
not-
that. I'd
yes.
say we've done a lot.
That is the farthest from the truth. We will get to these things. We can't do it now, but we will.
And
We just
even
have-
though right now we can't, it's not to say we haven't already done magnificent things.
Or
We unpetrify the Lich.
I think
Wait.
this is a matter of Finn. We'll talk about that. Just 1 second. I
It's
think
like
this is-
having Moment all over again when we
I think this
kept on being like,
I think this is a matter of. Unfortunately, I think this is a matter of priorities. We can go to Mordor and help out there. We can go to. We can
Fanshade.
somewhere and help out there, but that is treating symptoms. That is not treating the cause. We need
You'll
to.
see Zereth brighten up at that.
Castor's gonna sigh and he's gonna say, "We have the time. We don't have to keep rushing from thing to thing."
I do want to point out half the reason we're going to Blarg and heading up that way is to go to the Grangle Jungle. And I don't think we're ready for that. I really don't. And as much as I
Well-
love Matthew, I'd be no use to him dead. If anything, that would make things a lot worse for him.
Zereth brightens up again.
I have some work to be done. Lower Brim on our way that may possibly help us gather strength and possibly prepare us for the road ahead. But I don't know that going in the opposite direction is what we need to be doing. While that may help us gather strength, it is taking time. And I don't think we have much time. I truly think.
I disagree with you, Soot. I have a feeling many of our problems that we've faced so far have been because we rush into everything head on without taking our time to think and taking our time to learn and frankly just taking our time.
We can.
We can.
These people could use our help. And in giving them help, we could make ourselves stronger.
We can help. I'm not denying that. We can go to Mordor and we can help the wounded. We can shovel out snow. We can go to Sunshade. We can go to Zereth's home. We can figure out there. But what are we going to do? Change the weather? What are we going to do?
No.
What we are treating right now are symptoms of the cause. This world has become sick. The balance is off. We can help these things out, but what's not to say that the snow continues falling, another avalanche happens, and then we just took a whole week to travel to Mordorborn to help people out, and then when we leave again, it happens. Plus,
What's not to say that we...
I need something to happen. When you say something's not right, the balance is off, I need both you and I need Finn to roll a 1d4.
Oh god. I'm just sitting here.
a 1!
Okay.
A
So
2.
an arc of like lightning, but like a static electricity kind of arc will kind of zap between the both of you. So you'll take 1 point of damage. Finn, you'll take 2.
Okay, I don't know what that was, but let's not talk about that again, I guess.
Soot, if I may, and
Hey,
please forgive me if I am being too bold or going too far. I know you have things you want to do in Lorbrym that are very personal in nature to you. I have things I want to do here that are very personal, but we have to leave. It might be better for us to go and help other people out and gain our strength and bide a little bit of time and get to know each other better in a time where we have to actually not worry about everything so fast.
Corey, if I may ask a question. Callisto is the only one here who's been into the Grangle jungle. She knows how dangerous it is. How... this might be metagaming a little bit. How ready do you think they are? To...
We're close.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
I mean, by the time you guys get up there, just the experience of the travel alone, you'd probably assume they would be pretty prepared.
all of these problems that have happened, all of these things that are going on, what can we do about them? What can we do? Mysterious murderer who's running around, who has to kidnap people that are just as powerful as us and hold them hostage and accept arcane traditions. What can we do about an avalanche? Nothing.
Zereth.
What can we do
We
about...
can dig the people out who might be dying.
So we can, but it's going to take a week to get there. And what are they? They're
Hold
just
on.
going to survive in the snow for 6 days? Do you think
Yes.
that's feasible?
I do.
Hold on. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. I will say though, Finn will get up and like, all right. We're getting a little too heated here. I get where you're coming from, Castor. I do. There's a chance to help people, and we may not be strong enough, but we don't know that yet. We also have to worry about the crystal, Arwen. If we don't get to her, someone else may, and we don't know what will happen.
And if we go too soon, we die, and we don't get to her at all.
Exactly, and Finn's going to turn to Soot. I get your side too, Soot. We don't know if us going to these places and helping will fix anything. It'll just be like putting a band-aid on a sinking ship. But there could be a chance that we learn more about the what is happening and be better prepared for the jungle or figuring out what happens. We
And
can't
on
just...
top of
Go ahead, sorry.
on top of that, we're all acting under the casual assumption that we're not ready. We've grown stronger this entire time. I've been in the Grangle jungle. I've run away from the Grangle jungle. I've seen the hell so to speak, that jungle can be. Give it not even that much time and we can survive it. So, personally, I think we take our time heading up, but we need to get going.
I have an answer to Soot's question in a roundabout way, but it also requires answering it with a question to Finn. Finn, you mentioned the likelihood of my temple's activities being associated with the crystal, or the unlikelihood, whatever the case may be. I think the best way to investigate that, which is something that is in our control, which is what we're talking about right now, is to go and see what or if the crystal in the Grangle Jungle has been mobilized or stimulated in some way that has caused my temple to act and reciprocate.
So your vote is to go to the jungle.
Maybe not directly. I think. Soot, I don't mean to step on toes here, but you said you knew where to get money, and I think I know where you're talking about.
It's technically mine anyway, so I don't think it's considered theft.
Right.
Also,
Maybe,
go ahead.
sorry. There may be knowledge and quite literally an experience or two. Relative to that money.
I can almost guarantee you that at least in reference to Zolom, there will be information. However, if I may add one more thing to argue against going to Sunshade or anywhere there, we can't exactly go straight there. We have to go practically around. We have to go all the way to Sorlem, south to the Warning Stones, through the desert. It's not exactly like we can cut through the mountains, wander through the wastes of the desert, and just find ourselves there. That is as surefire a way to get ourselves killed as running into the Grangle Jungle unprepared would be.
If Corey, this is more of a question, but it's also based on an assumption. I know Zer knows the extent of his partner's job ferrying people, and possibly the extent of the ferrying service continentally. I believed at one point there was discussion of taking a ship from the Pulpa docks down to Sandshade. Is that a real option, or did I imagine that? Then Zer will say, we're not exactly in the worst position to undertake some of these options, at least in close proximity to each other. If we go to Lorbrum and we gain the knowledge, and knowledge is power, by that time we should be, by Callisto's testimony, ready to enter the Grangle Jungle, find out what's up with the crystal, find a way to secure it, and then make our way back down through Fortosum, where we have unfinished business, and then to Sandshade and beyond via the Pulpa docks. And Modelbjorn, if necessary as well.
And you finished?
Is there just one more thing?
Okay.
We still have to find Matthew. If we find Matthew, and Jason becomes safe, I think that puts us in a better position to go to Motorbjorn than without them.
DM, would Martha know any passages through the mountains? Because I'm guessing yes. She would at least know the way in and out.
There are a few, but most of them end up going into Hargust's territory. And as a dragon, they are trapped.
Castor is going to look to Zereth, or look to Soot again, and in a rare fashion, you can actually see his normal, like the way he tries to keep his facade up and keep even keeled. You can see he start to have some emotion brewing underneath all of that. I left Tansom in the first place to help people, and I don't feel like I've helped anyone since I've left. Wherever we've gone, a wake of destruction has followed us. People have died. What is going to Lorbrim going to do to help the people? Tell me. Give me a reason.
That's
Roll me a con save,
Who?
Castor.
Ooh, that's not a good one of mine.
It's just severe pain. You're gonna get a migraine, for one.
I see him start clenching his eyes and his jaw a little bit.
And then you are going to go into a vision.
And his eyes will open up and they'll be glowing.
You'll feel as if you're standing in about, let's say, about 2 to 3 inches of water. And this place has this wide open feel of a vastness to it. And there's a blue hue to where there is light in this area, and off in the distance there is a girl who is kind of curled down, seemingly afraid, and in the dark, kind of huddled underneath of a table.
Is this a vision where I'm able to do anything?
You do seem to be able to move.
I will approach and lean down and ask what's wrong.
She doesn't seem to be able to recognize that you're there. You're seeing an event.
I'll look
She's
up.
bleeding. On the floor is scattered pieces of tabletop children's games. Some that you might not even really recognize. And there is in her hand a couple more rings that she is like hurriedly kind of just tossing into the water. And kind of once they hit, you'll see kind of the unfortunate blood that she has on kind of ripple through the water as she kind of sits there in a place that seems to be fading in and out of like even light. And then eventually the light kind of dims out for a bit and you get pulled back.
Before I was going to try to reach down, put a hand on / near, and use my racial ability as an Azamar to provide her with some healing.
For whatever reason, it does not work. Whether this be from the past, something that cannot change, or something from the future that you're not present to change. The laws of seeing visions kind of, unfortunately, suck. He can't really...
This is the first one he's been able to interact with, so he wasn't sure.
Unfortunately, no.
Yep. So he gets back and immediately falls backwards.
Just on pure instinct, I'm gonna catch him.
she's been there for a few of his visions, so it's kind of a her and Zara, I believe, are the ones who are right there when he starts having his visions because they've been around for the most of them.
Had another vision?
Yeah, yes, I did. I don't know what it's about. I've never seen anything like it.
What did you see?
I was in an area that was very vast. I couldn't tell where it ended. There was water on the ground. There was light coming in, and it was bluish. And I saw far away from me a girl curled down under a table, and she was afraid, and she was bleeding. And I approached her, and upon the table she was under, there were scattered bunches of children's games, lots of colors, lots of different things. I don't know what they were. She had some rings in her hand, and she was throwing them into the water as she bled. And then everything went dark, and I came back here.
Is that exactly what I think it is? Like, Finn would recognize that, would he?
And I so
From
would
the
as well.
description, most likely.
You will see Finn's eyes wide, and he will say, "You saw Arwen. That's where I was. She's in trouble. We have to get to the crystal."
And from his position down, still being, held up, he'll look back to Soot again. Give me an answer. Make me feel better about this.
My father, Mayor Bishop Hogane, House Hogane of Lordrum, was to answer for his crimes against both this town of Lordrum and the kingdom of Sorlum. He must stand trial for all of his crimes, including murder, heresy, treason, assault, illegal use of magic, many much uses, and there must be set right basically everything that's happened in Lordrum. That is what I plan to bring, is justice and order. Not myself. Well, I will bring the justice and the order, but I will not be the justice and the order. That cannot stand. He cannot be allowed to rule. Honestly, one more day. And I plan to see him deposed of power.
I say
So-
we go to Lorbrum. I'm sorry I even suggested. It seems like it caused a bit of a fuss.
Castor will use Callisto's arm to help push himself up to standing, and he'll wipe a little bit of blood off of his nose. That migraine was a killer. And he'll nod to Soot. I guess we have justice to deliver then.
And
And a husband to find.
That too, Callisto had. I'll speak in a moment.
I was just going to say perhaps we catch two murderers. Yours and mine.
Perhaps Inadin Frostwitcher should very possibly, very likely have a good bit of information that we need for Zum and our undead friend.
Exactly.
But I want this to be known that I take no pleasure in this trial. It is what needs to be done.
He thought you were thinking in anyone's worst interest, honey. This is just a difficult situation. There's a lot of places we want to go, but we can only go to one. And I think Lorbrum is the right choice.
You are mistaken. We maybe only go to one now. That does not mean we will not go to Motorbjorn or to Sandshade. It is just, this is the course for now that we think is best.
Again, well spoken.
Castor will nod to Soot again. He will turn, give Callisto's hand a small squeeze, mouth thank you to her, and then he will start making his way towards outside.
Finn, I have a request / suggestion of you tomorrow. As you said, you could do much today. Tomorrow, do you wish to message either Sarah's mom or the princess and alert them the avalanche in Motorbjorn? That should be under Bortosum's protection, and they should be able to some sort of help if Polpa hasn't already.
I can
They
do that
don't-
in the morning.
Yeah, they don't take kindly to strangers, but given everything, I wouldn't be against sending some people that way.
I will make sure they know that so they can be prepared just in case, but I will message them in the morning. I'll message the Zer's mother, and since she is acting as the queen for right now.
So we're leaving Tansom tomorrow night?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
We'll rest and leave unless anyone has any last minute errands, but I assume we've had our fill.
I would
I-
like to. No, go ahead, dear.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, while I'm here, I would like to give a sermon, but that's really not the most important thing right now.
I would like to borrow a gold and go get some tailor work done real quick before we leave.
So it'll toss you a gold.
Thank you.
Martha, perhaps that's what you could do, in addition to what Finn has done to assist. Give a sermon, alert everyone to the avalanche that happened, see if anyone in Tansom can lend aid.
Now we're talking like a true guild, I say, as I'm chasing Castor out the door, and I catch up with him very quickly and have him lean on me, because I don't like that much blood going to his head and then him falling over and then standing up just as quick.
He'll gladly take the assistance, and he'll look to you. He'll make a concerted effort to look to you so you can see his lips moving well, and he'll say, "I just want to help people."
Let's get you somewhere where you're not burning up.
That's why I went outside. The snow feels nice.
Okay.
And you'll see him pause for a second, and he'll look to you, and then he'll notice that you were about to say something, so he'll nod.
Castor, can I ask you a favor?
If it's within the possibility of what I can do, yes.
I believe it is, but it's not a nice favor. Maybe you'll see my point later. Can you show me your wings?
DM, quick look around.
Amongst the snow, not really many people.
He'll pull you down like a side alley,
Okay.
and he will unleash his wings.
And Corey, what do they look like?
Currently, a little skeletal. A couple of the feathers are still falling.
Zereth is going to unabashedly start gently feeling the rings. He's not going to stroke it for fear of pulling off any remaining feathers, but he is going to walk around Castor and he's going to say, back in Aharaza, there were legends of creatures. They're bat-like creatures. I've heard them described similarly to vampires. However, in this version, they're not always evil. They guard the memories of the people that are laid at the grave sites. Sometimes they do evil things to people in town, evil things to children. In other legends, they're protectors. You know, Castor, I've walked this road for many years, and wisdom's often failed me. I think that faith can be misplaced, but no force on this planet can take it from you. Faith is a part of your soul, and it won't lie to you if it's a good one, which yours certainly is. For example, if you ask your soul, "Did I lie to my mother?" Your faith will always give you an answer. It knows more than your head does. Faith isn't something you get to choose either. You simply believe it, don't believe it anymore, or never did. Same as if I told you something ridiculous. You cannot believe it. So is faith. Now, people are different, of course. Some do not question what they believe, the orthodoxy, nobles if their hearts are hardened. Others must, philosophers, artists. But please remember what I said. No force can take away your faith. You don't possess a soul. Your soul possesses you.
And you'll see Castor's a little bit like speechless at this, like he's trying, but he's a little lost. And then he'll just nod at you. Thank you. I find myself turning to you for wisdom now more than I would even turn to my church or anyone else. Your words have helped me on more than one occasion now.
Now, Castor, I think your wings are still beautiful. They do good, but you can put them away if you wish.
He'll close his eyes and try to focus and bust them back in.
And he'll reach in for a big hearty hug.
Hey, by now Castor's getting pretty used to it, and he'll give you a big hug back, and then he'll pause for a second, remembering everything that's just happened, and he'll look to you, and you'll see that again a little bit of that facade dropping, and you could see like confusion and attempting to parse together what he wants to ask you. You can tell like what he wants to ask you is not something he's necessarily the most comfortable with, so he will pause. And then after a pause, he'll be like, I wanted to ask your advice on something else.
Of course.
So, you know me fairly well, I'd say. Probably better than most in this group.
Maybe.
I'm not the best with interpersonal relationships and friendships. I didn't have the best social life growing up now that I look back at it. I'm a little socially hindered when it comes to things like that.
All right.
What? And you can see like he's really beating around the bush with this one. Like he's trying to figure out how he wants to say it, and then he's gonna go out Castor blunt mode at it. What do you do when you have feelings for someone?
Keep giving them flowers. I almost took credit for those ones.
Giving flowers. How do you know if you have feelings for someone, though?
At first, Leander and I hated each other. It was weird for a time, but I'm not sure I have an answer, Castor. I want to say that I do. I want to say that I have some expertise on the subject so I can feel successful in my own life, but I don't think that's what it's about. It's not about your life, it's about the other person. So, it's not a skill that you can train. It's not a perception that you can hone. It's something that you have to feel with your heart. And I really do mean that sincerely, not nearly as metaphorically as it might sound.
And
I think you just have to go with it.
Castor will like smile a bit at you, and he'll say, "My heart is a strange thing. It's all sorts of new feelings. You guys were my first friends. I had acquaintances. I had people I studied with. I had the high priest who he took me in and treated me well, but he was never. He was as close to a father figure as I could have had. But again, I took my studying and my religion very seriously. I didn't necessarily have the time for other things.
There is a different type of introspection between people of your cloth and people of mine. I don't know if I would call myself a monk. A lot of my experience is practical. But I understand that with religion, I'm going to be blunt with you, Castor. I'm not a fan of the kind of advice that the priests here have given you.
I'm not going to lie to you or mince words either. I'm not the biggest fan either. It doesn't feel the same to me as when the high priest of the Church of Demeter would give me advice, and when Marcia was giving me advice. That was different. Part of the reason I gravitated away from the Church of the Crystal and other churches. I liked what I found there.
I'm going to say something a bit controversial, and then that's all I'll say. But I'll always be here for you.
I don't know how that's controversial, but thank you, my friend.
I think you should turn away from these new churches. I think you should turn away from this new money that's everywhere. I think the answers that you seek for yourself lie back in the desert.
And that's when you'll see him he'll re-steel up. Perhaps.
I'm sorry if that came out kind of rough, but I said I'd say no more, so...
I understand the desert is just a place. I was willing to go with you to help you on that, but I don't want to go back. My parents discarded me like I was trash.
So, as we're talking, having this heartfelt moment, kind of from behind you,
Please say somebody's mugging us. Please say somebody's mugging us.
From behind Castor, through the thicket of snow, there's going to be a very quick, very narrow and thin object. That's going to come at you with a 18 to hit, sir.
Who, me?
Does that break your armor class?
Yes, 18 breaks it.
It depends on who. Yeah, it breaks mine too, actually, yeah. Just barely.
That will deal 13 piercing damage.
Okay. I'm going to take that damage, and I'm going to immediately slap Castor on the arm with Perendi's Bond.
Yeah.
So for listeners, we each get a +1 bonus to attack rolls and saving throws while Castor is marked.
And Castor will, from his back, remove his shield that Soot gave him back, and interpose himself between the direction of which that came from and Zereth, and he'll look around, see if he can see anything, and he will reach back, touching Zereth. Where did it hit Zereth in the arm?
I would say right, kind of like right here between the actual like bone here and the
With a
what's it
quick
called?
glance, what is it? The clavicle, like the shoulder bone?
clavicle. So probably right here in the clavicle, between the clavicle and the shoulder.
Okay.
Just barely passing between that area and the shoulder blades. It's actually gone clean through.
Okay, so then I will put my hand over it and I will cure him quickly.
How much is that? Thank you.
8 points of healing.
So you are closing the wound.
I don't know. It's up to you if it closes it. I'm just healing him.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, thank you. Zereth, can I get a Constitution save with disadvantage?
Yes, you may. That'll be a 7.
Thank you very much.
Sorry if Castor hasn't done so already. I'm assuming that wherever we were parked, that kind of formed the alleyway. That we're by, because we didn't like go across an intersection, for example, to find an alleyway. So I am knocking on the side of our cart and yelling, indescript words, just syllables, to make as much noise as possible. If not that our companions can get out fast enough to else scare the attackers off.
I'm going to look around and see, do I see anything? Corey,
You can
nothing.
roll for it if you like.
I would like to roll for it.
Go ahead and give me a perception. Disadvantage because of the snow.
20.
Is that with disadvantage?
It is indeed. I rolled a natural 19, so +4 is 23, -3 for disadvantage is 20.
So you don't see any person, but from the angle of where he was hit and the way that the arrow went in, it had to have been a more kind of vertical area. And off in the distance, probably about, I'd say 120 to 150 feet away, is a small guard tower.
Trying to see what I have for spells. 120 feet, you say?
But you don't see any person there.
Okay. I am going to hold my shield up and stand in front of Zereth and kind of bump him with my butt backwards because I'm trying to look down and find the arrow. Where it went through him?
No. Did we hear the noise Zer was making on the cart?
I'd say so, yeah.
And
Okay.
Finn would have rushed out as soon as he started hearing noises. So
Same with Soot. I wasn't sure if there was going to be an initiative or an announcement or anything like that.
Same with Callisto.
Everyone's hopping out.
So The one thing that is different is by the time you get back to the cart, you've been scooting on the ground. The arrow and its pieces are kind of off to the side here. There is a rolled up kind of like paper on the end of the shaft.
I'll read it if I can.
You have been marked the Silent Blade.
Not that I would know. Maybe I would. Maybe this is like a desert organization. I'll make a history check to identify this new hunter.
Okay.
18.
From history and from what you know, I wouldn't think you would deal in this part of any of this knowledge within certain places, not even back home.
Okay.
He doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not gonna stretch this any further, but is there any strings that I might be able to help somebody else if I were to describe like the shape of the arrow, the color of the arrow, the any seals on the letter?
Give me a perception on the arrow.
Okay. Ah.
Oh no!
2 plus a 6, so that's
Plus a 6.
that's an 8.
Unfortunately, there is nothing. So, like, you feel that there could be a clue. I'll give you at least that. But you're
Okay.
not finding it.
I basically know there's something, but it's broken off, or I missed it, or it's gone.
I put my hand out, asking. Castor puts his hand out, asking Zereth for the arrow. He wants to look at it, not for the same reason, but he wants to inspect it to see if perhaps it was poisoned or if there was anything bad about it. Like he's gonna do a medicine check over it and like give it a sniff, give it all that.
I'll hand it over. What was the name of the it just said you have been marked?
The Silent Blade.
The Silent Blade. The Silent Blade, it has something faction-y about it. And I'll hand it over to Castor. I'm not touching the tip.
Castor will look at it, give the tip a sniff, like look at everything, do a medicine check, which is 18.
So this medicine this arrow is very interesting. No matter the amount of healing, this weapon makes a scar that will not go away.
Is there any poison on it?
No, there is not.
Okay.
Corey.
Mhm.
Just because the Silent Blade, have we encountered any of this yet, or are we still running up?
I'd say you guys are all there at this point.
Okay.
Because
does-
they were
You'll see-
just outside.
You'll see Castor
Yeah.
like out in front of Zereth with his shield out and like looking at an arrow.
Did you say the name out loud, or?
No, Castor didn't. He was just looking at the arrow.
I'm okay. Just because me as a player, the Silent Blade sounds kind of. So just as a precautionary measure, do I recognize the arrow from a massacre? Okay, so
What?
that's a no. Cool. Okay, thank you.
You definitely
Obligatory Soot being a
never bet on
nerd.
you.
Yeah, same with Finn.
So you might. Go ahead and give me a roll.
Okay. What am I rolling?
History.
History.
May I roll as well?
Oh!
Oh, never mind.
Like I said, Soot is a nerd.
So
that's-
yes, your father has worked with this gentleman before. He is a murderer.
Okay.
He is a hired man to kill.
Do you share that? Because
Yeah, Soot's face will darken at the mention of the Silent Blade.
as soon as you mention it, do you still have the arrow?
Me?
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
just looking at it.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not
you
getting
have.
rid of it or anything. Yeah, I just kind of
Oh,
figured I'd peek over.
Castor will reach out his hand for it. He's gonna try something.
So we'll hand it over.
He's gonna snap it over his knee, and then he is going to cast the spell Locate Object and locate for a whole arrow like that. That's what he's going to be searching for.
You will only get that.
He must have gotten too far away.
Okay.
Or he only brought one arrow.
If I is this a kind of thing with certain things like this where it's like, this person has been paid X amount of gold to kill someone. You can just pay them that same amount, and like you can pay off the bounty on your own head. Is this a situation?
This guy.
Okay, that's what I figured.
This guy works at a bit of a different kind of pace, and a lot of people don't like dealing with him for a few reasons. Because there is a chance that he'll turn on the person who hired him. It's a slim chance. But if he is initially beaten in a fair combat, then he will turn and kill the person who hired him.
So he just leaves messages like you've been marked, and he gives them a fighting chance, I guess.
It's I guess the most honorable you can be as an assassin. Yes, tell someone you're coming for them. You give them a chance to fight back, and if they win, then they win, and if they don't, then you get paid.
Sorry, Corey. I'm terribly sorry. I got mixed up and I totally interrupted you. So,
So that actually, GM question: does it have to be the target fights, or just anyone fights? Like,
Just
can
target.
I?
It is
Okay.
a one-on-one honor fight.
I wasn't sure if it was like picking a champion or anything like that. Okay, so good news, bad news, I suppose. Good news, or bad news first. You have been targeted for death. I don't know what crime you have committed, or what wrong you have done. But the good news is there is a way out if you personally duel this man. If you win, then nothing will happen. If you lose, you die anyway. So
that's
there's
exciting.
that. Hey, it's exciting as a word for it.
But sorry, I had a question for Corey. You asked earlier if Castor was closing the wound. It did fully heal me.
You are still left with a scar.
Okay. That's all I was wondering, because I at first I thought it didn't, but it did. So I'm just left with a scar. A very small scar.
Meh. It's a scar.
So, I mean, this just points to the fact that we need to leave.
Agreed.
We now have an assassin after Zereth. What else is going to happen? Like, literally, what have we stepped into where all of this is because of us? As he like holds his hand out and like put like with the snow, the thunder, then Zare's wound is just like.
I will say, well, while we should leave, that's not really going to de-incentivize the Silent Blade. So, yeah, that won't change. Leaving won't save him. not to be a downer, but just kind of the way it works.
I'm not saying that's an incentive. I'm just. It's me lamenting that we seem to have done something to get on something's bad side.
That's a bit suspicious, though, to me, because this thing that has been around town, that has been killing people and has Jason hostage, doesn't seem like. Why hire assassin when you could feasibly do it yourself? I think this may be something else, but I don't know why.
Why do something if you can get someone else to take the fall for it?
As much as this is fun to sit here and think about what's going on, we should probably get inside because one of us already got shot with an arrow.
It has gotten late at this point too. The sun is starting to go down.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get inside, but I still suggest we take watch to make sure that no one gets in.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
I'll take first. Zara, if you just go to the furthest back, and everyone can kind of sleep in the front.
Don't like the idea of them chopping through you to get to me. I'll sleep where I normally sleep, if that's okay.
That's fine. If I understand his methods correctly, I believe stealth will be his first option, and I just want to have eyes on him. I don't think it's necessarily wise to try to stop him, but it may be wise to give a holler and then kind of stand back, stand aside.
I have a few things that I could do. I don't think I'll be getting much sleep.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Well, I have another thing I'd like to do as well. Finn, if you have a moment.
No moment's gone.
Okay, I suppose you get light of that. That's not a joke I would make, but I didn't. Well, I guess I did know him, but I don't know him as well as you do.
Sorry, with everything that's happened,
You have to have
Try
some
to let-
levity.
yeah, just sure. What do you need?
I figure with Castor's vision and with our connection to Arwen, perhaps we could try to communicate with her to see if anything is wrong already and to possibly warn her of things to come, if the vision of the future that Castor had.
I mean, as much as I'd love to, I don't really know how we'd even do that.
I don't either, but I plan on playing it by ear. So,
Quick question: is my ring and Soot's ring glowing because we're like closer?
A little bit, but like not by much. It's more of like an acknowledgement. It's a faintly light, brighter glow, but it's not going to blind you.
Okay. Well, while we're closer, I'm gonna look at the ring and say, trying to remember what was said when the lightning hit. The balance has been shifted. Anything?
I believe it was something like that. The balance is off, but that's not exactly what
There's another crack of lightning. I need each of you to roll a 1d4.
2.
Oh, that'll do it.
And
That's
12
it.
damage. With a 4, Soot, you go unconscious.
Oh, okay. Do I also 4 damage?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear.
And
I knew I had that effect on women, but I didn't think I had that effect on men as well. If somebody help me carry him, I'm very weak.
So is everyone else in the party.
You,
I turn into a bear and go pick him up and just kind of over my shoulder.
So it's the strong one, y'all.
That's probably out for the night.
Well, Callisto, would you like to take the first watch with me?
I don't trust my ability to make bear noises. You get the general sense of a.
I'll take
and
that as a yes.
She is just going to walk into the cart, like squeeze through the door, and just go sit down, and then go find a room to hide in.
Also, I think I can make a bear noise, but it may spike the audio. Yeah, it's basically just. Yeah.
That's why I'm not doing it. Is I don't want to fuck with the audio.
just so you know, Finn, because I'm going to be rolling for exhaustion. Castor is not going to sleep tonight, so he'll be on all watches.
Okay.
But so that means you can go and find Callisto in the room, and there will still be somebody on watch.
And during middle of the first watch, that's what Finn will do. He'll leave Castor to watch and go find Callisto.
Has Finn been able to sleep since he came back from the dead yet?
I'm gonna say not really.
Right.
When he closes his eyes, he sees the void.
So after about an hour, you're going to start feeling the effects of exhaustion.
Okay. He's still not going to sleep. It's also kind of the reason he's not getting onto Castor for not sleeping, because he's not. But he's going to keep searching until he finds the room where Callisto's in.
She's not hard to find. You find her sitting in one of the smaller rooms, tending a little yellow potted plant. Looks to be, I believe we said it was pansies, Corey?
Lily, I think it was.
No, it definitely wasn't lilies. It was
Oh,
either
it was-
pansies or something else.
Flowers.
I'm gonna say it's pansies.
It's flowers.
Yeah, it's yellow flowers. She kind of looks up, looks back down, keeps tending the flowers.
You know, if you don't really give me the chance to apologize, I can't really know what's wrong.
What do you have to apologize for?
I kind of would like to know, but I feel like I've upsetted you by being brought back, or I've done something. You keep avoiding me.
Don't take it personally. It's me. It's not you. It's me.
What do you mean? I can help if I can.
It's hard to explain. I, in some form, have been. Let's just say I deal with a lot of fucking survivor's guilt. And then somebody comes back who didn't survive. And it's my fault. It's my fault. You died. How am I supposed to respond to that, Finn?
Knowing it wasn't your fault. Did you?
How can you say that?
Did you strike me down? Were you the
No.
shadow creature? Exactly.
No, but I let it happen. Castor and I both. But frankly, I blame myself. Castor has enough to blame himself for.
Oh, very stupid. Y'all know that? It's not y'all's fault. It's not none of us. No, yes, it's all of our faults. We all
Let's-
decided what.
Callisto, do you have a ring yet?
Yes, I do.
Can I get you to roll me a wisdom save, please?
Yeah, I got you.
Is people gonna keep passing out next to me?
Oh my
Ooh.
god.
Second
That is a
natural 20
natural.
of the night, bitches!
So you succeed on pulling back from anything, but there is a feeling that what you're about to do is for the greater good. The ring is willing you to punch him in the face.
I kind of look at the ring for a second. Look at Finn.
You're all just. I mean, like I said, you're all
Yeah, no, I kind of look at him, look at the ring, look at him, punch him with the hand with the ring on it. Do I have to roll attack?
You can if you wish.
Okay, because I have a negative strength mod.
This is where we get to go into a cool moment, though, too, where I also get to ask, Finn, would you like to go unconscious for a little bit of extra fun?
Oh, come on, you know me.
Okay.
Of course, I'm gonna say yes.
All right. So, Callisto, you can go ahead and deal damage if you wish. You don't have to.
I'm not trying to hurt him. I'm just trying to punch him
Isn't
because
an
I feel like
unarmed
he's arguing a point that is not going to be taken well,
unarmed
Yeah.
strength is 1 plus strength, right? So,
which is nothing.
so it'd be 0.
So, you're going to hit back. And we're going to come back to everybody who's in the land of the awake. And we're going to go into the land of the sleeping. Now, the first thing I want is I want to hear Finn's favorite dream in the world, where everything goes right.
No, you don't. You don't want to hear that. It's not PG-13.
Oh, shut up! It is.
You're a bard.
Have I done anything besides try to seduce the princess? Okay, I'll shut up now. But his favorite dream is him in this big, almost like Coliseum stadium, and the center of it, and everybody just cheering, applauding him as he plays one of the most beautiful songs that has ever been played. And it's just like an entire like sea of smiles of people just being happy. We're like,
So then, while that's going on, Soot, you're walking in through the 2 double doors at the Coliseum, down into the center. Just off in the distance, you see Finn.
I'll walk toward him, I suppose, seeing as there's a recognizable face.
Okay. And so, Finn, there's this weird feeling, like, when you're in a dream, how you don't really always know that you're in one,
mhm.
you know? But there's this element that's standing out in your dream more so than anything else, and that element is a friend approaching you. And there's this weird kind of visual about them. Like, they don't belong. It's not horrible, but they don't belong in this, where you're at. It's not a bad thing, but it's curious.
I will stop for a second and be like, you're gonna have to take your seat. No one should else be on the stage.
So we'll look around. Are there seats available for me?
You're in an empty Coliseum.
Okay. Then I'll sit in the good seats. I will sit front row, slightly to the side.
Every person that he moved through, Finn, in your side, because this is a packed stadium.
Mm-hmm.
They disappear.
Stop moving.
Okay. So we'll stop.
That's Soot. What are you
Hey.
doing here?
Don't rightfully know, to be honest. Oh, wait, hold on. This always takes a minute. That's right. Dreamwalker. Can only remember that when I'm walking dreams. Always a delightful thing to rediscover every night. So I'm here. How are you doing, Finn?
6 more people around him will disappear.
I'm kind of breaking the fiction of the dream here by just kind of letting you know that you're in one, so I apologize. It'll probably take about a minute until the whole thing kind of collapses. The stadium will stay though, so you can keep playing if you enjoy the acoustics.
He will just kind of deflate as he just sees more people disappear. It's like, I thought I had done it.
Well, I mean, you can. Just put your mind to it. Don't focus on anything. Focus on what's going on. Use that power
As you
to.
say that, though, in his vision, all the fans disappear. He is left in an empty Colosseum in the dead center, in the middle of night, with only the stars and yourself to greet him.
Finn's the brightest star of them all.
It seems even in dreams I bring ruin. But I suppose while we're here, we can go ahead and finish what we are going to do in the waking world. Wait, nope, I won't say that phrase. Even in a dream, I don't really want to see what's one layer beneath dreams. That kind of seems to be a scary place. So, um, let me just go ahead and do this now. I'm gonna try to like mentally cast out towards Arwen, kind of like send like a mental ping her way.
Finn is still kind of just looking at the empty crowd, and you'll hear him say, "You know, before I died, one of my biggest dreams was just to be famous, to be known throughout the land, to see people just smile as I play."
So, sorry for the dogs for one.
Mm.
Um, as you send that ping out, you're not going to receive anything. But at the end of Finn's words, Finn, you're going to hear a very similar tune that you remember a little while back in a forest, leading you out of the Colosseum.
Yeah, and it won't. It's kind of like, I'm gonna say sleepwalking, where he's not really paying attention, but he goes to the noise, not even saying anything to Soot, just follows.
So we'll follow, seeing Finn move.
So you guys will head out of the Colosseum into this large, open vastness of just dark, about 2 inches of water at your feet, kind of clap as you walk. And you don't see anything at first, but you hear the sobbing. And around your feet, you see a mixture of blood in the water. And then you hear a very fast motion behind you. As you turn, something large moves by your vision, but something a little too fast to comprehend. Something hiding in the darkness.
Um, can Soot kind of like conjure their spear? Like, honestly, I assume Soot is like walking around in basically like plain clothes, at least for Soot. So they'll kind of like extend their arm and kind of like cast spear out and then like ignite it in the green flame. So this is something new. That figure in the darkness thing. So perhaps we should make this quick. And then we can get back to the stadium and the safety of dreams.
Arwen, are you out there?
Yeah, you'll hear more sobbing.
I will walk towards the sobbing.
Eventually, you will kind of walk a little bit farther, about 17, 18 minutes, and you'll kind of step and crunch a glass chess piece underneath your foot. And then you'll look up, and then off to the distance will be the large table you remember sitting at. The light of the area is almost dimmed, and there's a figure underneath the table bleeding.
I'll go under the table and see if I can. I will cast healing word on the figure.
It
That-
won't do much.
Are you? What's going on?
She'll just kind of. You see almost like a traumatization a bit. Like her eyes won't stop scanning the edges of the darkness. And she's going to try to stammer to talk, but nothing really coherent is going to come out besides stolen, where? The darkness. Where?
I will conjure my lyre and just start playing a very calming song. Try to get her to just listen and
And
just.
one of the strings will break.
He'll put it down and just start humming to her, just trying to get her to calm down. If he has to, he'll like hug her, like try to pull her closer to him.
What would Sid be doing?
Actually, while Castor is doing that, Soot will kind of like walk over, plant his
Castor.
spear. Oh, I say Castor. Soot will walk over to Finn, plant a spear nearby with like the flame lit, and then just walk into the darkness, kind of like a distance away from the group. Whichever is out there. Is it safe to assume you're Zolom? And Soot will wait.
You feel this pressure in your gut. It's almost as if like something is squeezing your stomach, as if trying to make you regurgitate your last meal.
I'm not sure what you're getting at there, but I apologize if I offended you, I suppose. But the least you could do is use words.
You feel as though you're being stalked in the darkness, almost by a predator.
Soot will sit in the water, cross-legged, and close their eyes, and just kind of wait.
So I need a dex save from you.
My dexterity save, not my best. Oh, not the worst. 17?
Here's the crappy part. It's still not good enough.
I figured.
And can we say, I mean, I know I'm pulling this again, but I am humming. Can he get a bardic inspiration from that? Or am I too focused on Arwen?
I would say you're too focused on her.
And I walked
Especially
away.
because even with the way this is going to end, well,
It
the
won't
odds are
help.
stacked against you a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
This creature will emerge from the darkness, this large-scaled, four-legged, and six-legged creature. Large black talons, a purple body, and a scorpion-like tail towards the end. Kind of looking like something that came from an alien movie, only a little bit more canine-like. That's going to basically jump out of the darkness almost immediately, and you're going to wake up.
Just
In
him?
that brief second, can I try to get a roll of some sort as to what that is?
You can definitely try.
I would love to try. What on earth would I roll?
You can roll a Arcana or a History.
They are the same. Good lord. Okay, 25.
25 for Arcana. They are known as the Kalteth.
Calteth?
Calpeth. Okay.
They are basically the sharks of the medium world. If you leave your body, they will attempt to eat your soul.
Huh. Noted.
Astral sharks, basically.
Basically.
Sewer sharks. Yeah.
Street sharks.
There we go.
Okay. Quick question, and then we can go back to Finn. Assuming that I wake up, does it count as a long rest? And
It does.
do I yes, and do I regain hit points and everything accordingly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll wake up early the next morning with everyone else.
Right at the normal time. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Back
Corey.
in the dreamscape. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I thought you were finishing the night, so my bad.
Z.
Yeah, so I didn't announce anything, but I muted and left to go to the washroom right about when this started. So I assume I was one of the awake.
Yes, I got punched into unconsciousness.
You got punched into unconsciousness and
Yeah.
got zapped by his ring.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
We'll backdate and get everybody else who's not in the dreamscape to bed, and then the next time when we play, we'll wake up the very next morning. Okay. So Finn, you are kind of huddled with her, and you'll kind of hear Soot talking for a bit. And then you'll hear a really quick motion, and then silence.
Has she calmed down at all?
No. Especially not when Soot doesn't continue speaking.
Mm. Finn is just going to. He's almost like just holding her and rocking her, like you would do to a child who's like scared of the thunder or the dark, and just start whispering like, it's gonna be okay. We will find you. Everything's gonna be all right. You need to.
Can I get a deck save, please?
Okay. Why, God?
You're going to take claws directly at your back. You'll just see the look of like terror and the reflection of this creature in her eyes before you wake up. And there's this burning bright light that's going to send her out of her hand towards the creature.
Can I say one last thing before I disappear to her?
Maybe. What do you want to say?
It's going to be okay.
Give me a 1d2.
Okay. Let's slash 1d2. 2.
You will be able to say it.
Do I feel anything when I wake up?
We'll get there.
Okay,
That's tomorrow.
that's tomorrow.
Heading back to everyone else. Reverting back to now that Finn is unconscious. Callisto has just punched him.
Callisto immediately just goes, fuck. What do I do? Fuck, shit.
So
Goes to take the ring. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Nope, we're good. She takes the ring off and tries to like put her hand on Finn and cast cure wounds and see if she can like get him conscious. I don't know.
We'll see the nose snap back into socket.
Broke my nose.
Yeah. Broke your nose
Not
with a 0
now.
damage punch. Fucking okay.
Callisto, is everything all right?
It's fine. Don't worry about it. She goes and like shuts the door. It's like,
This has a very I
what
hurt
did
my
I just
sibling
do?
vibe to it.
yes. She's like, what did I just do?
Zereth's gonna catch his foot in the door because he's already like on his way once Castor was like shouting out, and he's gonna like close up behind him, and he's gonna be like, "It's okay,"
Nope.
and
We're all good. We're all good. Just a little bit of.
and he's
little
gonna
bit
mirror the thumbs up and the false smile, and we're gonna be like, and he's gonna hold a hand out, and I'd like to just make a medicine check on Finn.
I'm like standing in the door so you can't see him on the floor.
Regardless of the result, which is pretty decent, 19, Finn's gonna appear fine. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, he's not gonna die.
Yeah, he like I'm like
Yet.
I'm not gonna ask any questions, Callisto, but
I punched him in the face.
Do I hear this from the other room?
that
Probably.
makes me want to ask a different set of questions, but I won't.
I
It-
didn't mean to punch him in the face. The ring told me to. I took it off, but it also was kind of cathartic. I'm sorry.
I laugh because sorry, I laughed because I was going to just simply suggest you put the ring back on, but that has some implications. That
You'll hear
He's
the boot falls of Castor coming now too to check with Zereth.
he didn't do anything to piss you off, or I assume.
No.
Considering what you just said about the ring, it was more of a magical impulse.
I'm gonna look and see if Castor's behind him.
Oh yeah, he's there by now.
I just go, no, nothing. Nothing. It was the ring entirely. Totally.
Castor's gonna try to get in if she'll let him, and he's gonna.
She is not gonna let. She's just holding the door against Zereth's foot.
Let me take him to a bed so that he can sleep.
Is there a bed in here, Corey?
There's your bed.
I'll just put him in mine. I don't like beds anyway. It's fine. See, they're just soup.
More of like a nest of greenery.
There will call out to Castor and just confirm that everything's okay. He'll lift up Finn and place him in Callisto's bed for her, and then he'll just like invite Callisto out and rejoin with Castor if he's amenable to that, and be like, now we can all let him sleep.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
When
right.
he wakes up, he won't be broken or tell mom.
And then Castor's just going to give a how do I make this not vague? Like
Zereth's gonna do it.
would Castor recognize a really reassuring smile, like a sincere everything's okay kind of smile?
Oh, I'm sure you guys have done it at him enough by now.
Let's
Okay.
say
He's
that's like
probably at least seen it
got
from
one of
his
those.
father once.
Nope.
that's it.
Father gave me up before I could
No,
remember.
that's
Your
why I'm
adopted
asking because
parent.
Oh,
Say that's like Finn's natural smile is everything's okay.
yeah. I was gonna say. I think the party's done that at Castor enough for him to know what that means now.
hmm.
Man, I'm glad I don't have one of these rings.
They're not fun.
Callisto, would you
Yeah.
my instincts are telling me that it would be a good idea to keep the rings on. I'm not saying that as a joke towards Finn.
No, I get that. Okay, yeah, I'll go back and go get it.
The least we can do is find out if it happens again. If it proves to be a danger, then maybe we can reconsider. But I think it would be a good idea to keep them on as a group.
Okay. Yeah, you're totally right. I'll go back. And I go back up the stairs. And sorry, you were gonna say?
Zereth was just like, I'm sorry.
Why
Like
are
he
you
said,
sorry?
like, because he gives you a Canadian sorry.
Nice.
Make more sense? Good, okay.
Significantly more sense, thank you.
As someone from Wisconsin, I understand it entirely.
She goes back up the stairs, grabs the ring off the floor from where she dropped it, and then since Finn is asleep, she kind of looks between him and the plant, and him again. Goes over to the pansies and picks up the pot, puts it next to him, leaves.
Punches it.
But, yeah.
Castor right now is, you can tell just by looking at him, he is wrought with guilt over looking at both unconscious Finn and his friend Zereth, who got shot when he came to talk to him. So Castor is like, so he'll leave to go back, and he was kind of sitting by the front door with his back to it, so he could see the windows too.
Sarah's gonna speak softly for everyone who's sleeping, but loud enough that Castor can hear from across the room, and Callisto, like everybody who is awake. Martha, um, he's kind of just touching the tiny scar, like I hope they're able to recognize this. Kind of
It's-
excited to meet them again.
It's a little painful.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Tinder, probably.
Can I do a medicine check on myself
Sure.
to see if there are any inflamed veins, any discoloration that might indicate poison?
It's usually tender after you've been healed from an open wound. Like, you're not going to cause any damage, but it's like, oh yeah, that was recently open. That's tender.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I get it. To be honest, it's a bit exciting to be marked for death. Wonder why me? And then I'm gonna take out the note that was tied to the arrow, and I'm gonna take out one of those colored pieces of chalk that we used on the map, and I'm going to write underneath the addressee why with a question mark.
Maybe it wasn't meant for you.
There is a small knock at the door.
Castor will get his shield off and put it in front of him and look to you, Zereth, and then look to Callisto. And he'll approach the door, holding his holy symbol,
Goodness.
and he will open it just a bit and look out.
The gentleman with the full plate armor from before. He'll have a small cart behind him with logs, firewood. He's just kind of going door by door and seeing if anybody's interested in purchasing up a few.
I'm nodding to Castor if he can see me. like
I'll look
like,
back.
frantically, like, give him some silver.
Castor will look back and he'll like shake his head like Castor's like, I don't have any money. But no, he's got a couple gold pieces. How much?
It's a single silver.
I mean, can he break change?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll give him a gold and get 9 silvers back.
Okay. He'll load you up with all the wood, basically. He's got about like 8 or 9 loads, so he just goes ahead and hands them in to you.
I'm gonna look him over while he's doing this. Does he? Because you said he's a commoner, but most commoners don't have plate armor. So I'm going to like look him over when he's coming in and see if like there's anything off or different about him.
Oh, he won't like really come in. He's just kind of like reaching it out to you
Well,
through the
then
doorway.
while he's doing that, I'll look him over. Look at weapons, look at anything like that. See if he's got any bows, any arrows, any etc. Weird stuff that.
No bows, 2 swords, long swords, both sides. The armor looks kind of intricate, but it's seen it stays in battles. It's scuffed. It's got a couple of chips, maybe in the left shoulder or so.
What?
It just kind of gets the feel like this mercenary.
What's the story behind the roses? Castor will ask.
Do you mean the vines in the armor?
Yeah, you said there was vines and roses in the armor.
Thorn. Yeah. He just explains that it was the craftsman who made it. Not really a personal choice, but the armor's good.
Castor will nod. I just asked because roses are my favorite flower. And it's a lovely set of armor.
Yeah, for a few.
All right. Well, thank you, and have a good night.
So you guys will eventually close the door. Zur, you were awake for that, right?
Yeah, I was kind of handling the wood from Castor into the corner. So I was inside, but I wasn't really in view of the merchant.
About a couple minutes will go by, and you'll feel kind of like a twinge, pain a little bit more. So you kind of move the shirt aside and rub it a little bit, and so once you kind of rub it a little bit, something kind of hits you, and I'd like for you to roll just straight intelligence roll for me.
That's not great, but of course. 5.
Oh. Mm,
It's the bottom third. Not great.
yeah. Um. As you. Oh damn. Okay. I wish I could give you something, but at least for the listeners, and since we're really good at not using meta, as Zur scratches the thorn-like rose scar on his chest, we will pan out and return the next morning as we continue with her another story on Opportunity Roll.
Thanks for listening to this episode. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode, and comment so we can bring more people to join the story with us. We want to thank Syrinscape as we use their sound systems for our sound effects and music. Check out the description if you want to know exactly which sets we used this episode. Thanks to Kobold Press, we use their monster write-ups to keep our players on their toes and you listeners on the edges of your seats. Join us next episode as we continue our story.